last week, Ubisoft could not stay out of the news. They canceled 3 games and delayed Skull and Bones again. And the MPD numbers are in. We're going to be talking about that live on twitch.tv/lonercast. What is up, boyos? Welcome to Last Week in Games, where everything is video games. My name is Jake. That is Nick.
Hello.
Sapon. Last week I forgot to say everything is video games, and I rewatched the episode and I was like, oof, it's just not the same without saying that.
It's just not the same.
It just doesn't hit the same.
Just doesn't have the same oomph,
Yeah. How's your weekend?
Oh, super long.
Yeah.
I have today off because it's milk day.
It's milk day. Yeah.
Don't forget to drink your calcium
True
drinks and support black people, I guess. I don't know why they put black people with milk.
I don't get the correlation.
I don't understand that. Dude.
What could it possibly mean?
I'm trying to think, like, black people, milk, white drink. Is it that LeBron Universe video with, like, milk in the cup?
Milk in the cup.
The black calcium and the white calcium. It's just maybe it's a LeBron Universe and we live in Bizarro Land. I don't know. I just don't see it. I'm
definitely inserting a clip there. It's got to be done.
That's fine.
Yeah.
No, anyway, it's MLK Day, and that's
sure is
a day to be celebrated, I suppose, by not going to work for me.
Yeah.
So I decided to not go to work.
I love that for you.
Yeah.
What if you just went anyway? Just like no one's there.
Somebody would probably ask me why I showed up, and then
you'd probably get arrested or something.
Not pay me for the day that I just wasted.
In fact, they might fire you for like trespassing.
No, they don't give a shit.
True.
They're like, oh shit, you came in. What's going on? I'm like, well, I forgot, and they're like, all right, well, go home. Or take a day off. Take a different day off is probably what they'd say.
It's wild, Nick. Last week I was talking about High on Life.
Mm-hmm.
And the week I talk about High on Life, fucking Justin Roiland comes out as like some sort of wife beater.
I believe it.
That's crazy, man. That's crazy.
I believe it.
Yeah, probably.
I feel like his fans kind of got to him.
You think it's the fans' fault?
I think it's the. I don't know. I don't know if it's the fans' fault. It might be just the instant fame from Rick and Morty, because like he was a voice actor, I think, right?
Yeah.
Justin Roiland. He was like a comedian / voice actor that nobody really knew.
And then he was on Adventure Time and stuff.
Yeah, and then he plays the part in Rick and Morty, and it blows up, and his voice is in everything, and you hear him all over. He's doing video game stuff, and it's just one of those.
Rick, I'm in prison, Rick. Oh shit! Yeah. I beat my wife, Rick. Oh shit!
Yeah, and the shit he says, like, honestly, yeah, that I would believe that in like a Rick and Morty sort of episode. I feel like a lot of real things come out of his mouth because it's a lot of improvisation on that show, and there's some weird shit that comes out of that guy's mouth. So I believe it.
Yeah, a lot of weird like pedophilia jokes too, like. Yeah, I know. It's like, well, look out.
Look out, children.
Yeah, man. I was wondering, like, what do they do? What do they do? Do they cancel Rick and Morty? You think they're going to?
No, nothing will happen, dude.
Like,
that's who they are.
If he actually gets arrested, though, like,
if he gets arrested? Do you think it's that bad?
I mean, I don't know what the fuck false imprisonment is, but that sounds pretty bad to me.
False imprisonment?
Yeah, he got like charged with domestic abuse and false imprisonment.
A person commits false imprisonment when they engage in the act of restraint on another person, which confines that person in a restricted area. Okay.
That sounds pretty bad.
That's pretty bad, dude.
That sounds like not good. You know,
That's
like
like, yeah, that's like that Eminem song, tie you to the bed and let this house on fire. Um, that's pretty bad.
yeah. And like, you
Hmm.
know, like they canceled all of Louis CK's shows, like, and he just sort of like beat off in front of some people, you know?
Yeah, that is true.
And it's not so much even about like getting convicted. It's more about just like the court of public opinion, which doesn't seem to be
Right.
on his side right now.
Well, but Rick and
Maybe that
Morty,
fan
Rick
base
and
doesn't care.
Morty, exactly. That's exactly what I was going to say. The fan base of Rick and Morty, I'm sure, is just like, I do that too,
But
because I believe it.
you think like Dan Harmon would want to distance himself from that though? I don't
No, dude,
know.
Dan Howard probably already knows.
Maybe. I don't know. I don't think you're like telling your friends like, "Oh yeah, I beat my wife."
Mm,
Most people probably keep that secret.
yeah, I'm not sure, man.
Who
I don't
knows?
know. I don't know. It's just as soon as I heard the news, I'm like, oh yeah, okay. Like that
I
didn't
was
surprise.
surprised
It
actually.
really didn't surprise me a whole lot. So I don't know what to say other than okay, like whatever fucking happens, happens, I guess. But I don't know. It just didn't surprise me at all.
I was kind of surprised. He always seemed like yeah, the fans suck, but I always thought he seemed like a pretty chill guy.
I mean, you know who the fans, how fandom works, right? It's just kind of
I mean, like
you kind of get
sometimes.
into that role that the
Sometimes
fans
though,
want you
like
in.
it's hard to say that as a Star Wars fan though, because like the Star Wars fandom is shitty. I don't think George Lucas is fucked up
No,
though. You
no,
know?
no, 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 no. The Star Wars fandom is not shitty. They're just loud people. Okay, well, you got me. You know what? I'm not even going to defend that because I already see that it's easily objective. So
Yeah,
you got me there.
it's hard to
It's
say.
hard to. It's also hard to defend that fandom with the amount of shitty people in it,
Yeah.
which I guess could be said for the Rick and Morty fandom.
Well, and
So
especially because like I've seen clips of Justin Roiland being like, "Yeah, the fans are annoying." Like I agree. You know? So
mhm.
I don't know. Who knows? They could replace him though. There's plenty of people who can emulate that voice pretty easily, and he hasn't been a showrunner on the show
Oh
since like
yeah.
season 3. I don't think so.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, there's people on like TikTok and stuff that have his voice down stupendously. So
But
it would.
also like I think there's been like what 6 seasons or something. That's good enough. That's enough seasons.
That's enough. Yeah, I have stopped at season 3. So
It's pretty
as
good.
far
It's
as
pretty
I'm
good after that. I'm not gonna
concerned,
lie.
I'm
There's a new
sure.
season coming out this year. Maybe that's just it. They just ended with that.
Maybe. Who knows? I mean, it really doesn't matter though.
Yeah.
I don't think it's just another show.
Yeah. Oh
It's
yeah.
just
Totally.
it's
Obvious. Yeah.
like it's just a person and a bad person at that, possibly getting what they deserve. Um, I don't know. It's hard to say.
Yeah. We'll see. We'll see what happens to the
Yeah.
man. Uh. But you know, on a brighter side of that coin, Dan Harmon's making the Community movie. It's confirmed.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I
that's
heard about that.
and our boy, uh, Dong Lover is going to be in the movie
Dom.
too. It's pretty
Hey.
sweet.
I hope everybody's in there. I hope even Chevy Chase has a little part in it.
No, he's not. No shot.
He's not going to,
No
but I
shot.
still hope.
No shot. Everyone in that cast and crew hate that man. So I don't.
Oh
And
yeah.
Donald Glover is like the biggest star in the world right now, and he fucking hates Chevy Chase. So I doubt they're
Oh.
like we'd rather have Donald Glover than Chevy Chase.
Yeah, I think what is his name? Chevy Chase is actually Pierce. Like I feel like
Yeah,
that is
yeah.
who his personality is. So it's not that surprising.
I think Pierce is actually nicer than Chevy Chase, actually.
Oh,
Because there's like bright moments
interesting.
in Pierce, you know? There's moments. He has
Yeah,
his moments.
there is moments.
I don't think Chevy Chase has his moments. I feel like he's an asshole all the time.
I don't know him personally, so
Me either. But every story I've ever heard about that man is not good. Dude, it's the week of Fallen Titans, too. Did you hear about Andrew Callaghan? Do you know who that is?
I don't know who that is.
Sorry, this is like
Not off the cuff.
this
Not
is
off.
a really depressing intro tangent.
Mhm.
But he does Channel 5 and All Gas No Brakes. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. So what's going on with him?
A
I didn't hear
bunch
about it.
a bunch of people came out saying like they were pressured into like doing sexual things with him, and he like forced sex upon them, and yeah, not great stuff. And he basically came out and was like, yeah, yeah, I kind of sucked and I'm in therapy and I just entered a psych ward because I was fucked up. So yeah, that kind of sucks. And I just watched. Go ahead.
That's almost the worst thing you could do is actually admit it, right?
Maybe.
Just like, yeah, well, I fucked up.
There were so
you're done then.
I think for him though, there were so many accusations. It was like a Bill Cosby sort of thing. Like there were so many people coming out and like so many threads being like, "Oh yeah, it was pretty well known in Seattle that you just like don't go near that dude." And like it was pretty obvious that like his only option was to be like, "Yeah, I fucked up and I'm working on myself," you know? And it sucks because I just watched his documentary and it's fucking phenomenal. So, yeah.
Well,
Sucks.
see, you got to separate the art from the artist.
Yeah, I guess so.
That's the biggest thing. And people are always bummed when the artist is a fucking nut job because they always are. You can't make art unless you're fucked up somehow.
That's not always true.
That is true. That is true.
Yep. Yeah, you're right.
Yep. You got to be fucked up to make art.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
You're right. You know what? The more I think about it, the more you're right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. See? You got me.
Yeah, man. I keep thinking about Brendan Fraser, right? So Brendan Fraser is like the hottest shit right now. Everyone loves him. They're like, oh, he's such a sweet guy and all this stuff. And I'm just like, oh, you guys better calm down.
Yeah.
You better calm down.
Something's gonna come out.
I know. I'm like, you guys.
Boy.
Like there's no evidence. Like, don't get me wrong. There's nothing saying he's done anything wrong. It's just like I don't play that game. I don't fucking, except for Jack Black. He's the only one. he's all I have left.
I don't even think Jack Black's in the clear.
I know.
You know?
Yeah, especially
like he hangs out with the Foo Fighters.
Well, and you know who one of his good buddies was? Justin Roiland. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Fuck, man. Not Jack Black.
I mean, they're under the public eye all the time, right? So you're gonna slip up at some point. Everybody slips up at some point.
Well, I mean, sure. There's a difference between slipping up and like beating your wife and
beating your yeah, okay, yeah.
Keeping her prisoner.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. But also, you know.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to play devil's advocate. There's no fucking devil's advocate for
roofing
these people,
one girl isn't that bad.
Hey, I didn't say that. No, like I'm trying to play devil's advocate because that's what I kind of like, looking at the other side of the coin. Just like, yeah, if I was in his position, but like beating your wife is like,
it's pretty bad.
I guess getting angry once is one thing, but then I don't know if it becomes that horrible that you're like keeping her in the house.
It wouldn't have happened if she just shut her mouth.
That's exactly it. I don't know, man. It's hard to play devil's advocate with against it. It just, you fucked up.
Yeah.
Fucked up for a while.
You know, sometimes it's like, who knows? You know, like if like the Aziz Ansari thing when that came out. I don't know if you remember that. Where it was like this girl came out and was like he was pressuring me, but then people really started to like listen to what was going on, and it just sounded like they had a date and it was awkward and not great. and that was kind of the extent of the experience.
Right. Yeah.
But ultimately, what happened was people sort of realized it was just a fucked up date and got over it, like.
Yeah. Well,
So,
and there's definitely people like that. If with all the stuff about Bill Cosby, I'm sure there were a couple of people in there just trying to get their,
for sure.
15 minutes of fame or whatever. So it's, there's gonna be things like that.
That's like that
Anyways.
that
So,
Dave Chappelle joke where he's like, I got to the point where I was like, oh, I bet at least 3 of them are lying. and then you think about it and you're like, well, I guess that's not really the point.
yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Like, you get 1 or 2, but also
but all these other people are
all
telling
these
the
other
truth.
people. Yeah, exactly. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Who knows? Maybe Justin Roiland's wife was a complete bitch and just like, oh, I'm gonna start shit. That's the best devil's advocate I can give. Like,
well, it's like
maybe he fucked up in another way, and she's like, oh, I'm gonna ruin his career.
Well, it's like that Brad Pitt thing that's going on right now, right? Like Angelina Jolie. This is turning into a drama podcast, but oh well, we're here, we're in it now.
Well,
but
it's the way it's made.
Angelina Jolie came out and said, like, he beat her or whatever, and but then a lot of people are having a hard time taking her seriously just because she's like done a lot of weird things in her past. I don't know where to stand on that. I mean, she did like make out with her brother on the red carpet or whatever. She seemed a little weird, a little nutty, but
yeah.
But I don't know. I don't know either of them. They're probably both shitty, to be honest.
Yeah,
Fight Club's a good movie, though. It's a good movie.
Yeah.
All of 7. Yeah. It's a good movie.
It's a good movie. Yeah. So, I don't know. It's a weird thing. You never fucking never meet your heroes because they'll always disappoint. That's the fucking saying.
Yeah.
So.
Yep. It's like, right now, the Last of Us show came out and everyone's talking high and mighty about Pedro Pascal, and I'm like, oh yeah, he's great in the show. I'm not on that level where I'm like, oh yeah, he's perfect, man. I don't know. I'm not going there.
No. As an actor, in the things that I've seen, he's a fantastic actor. Yeah. That's as far as I'll go.
Yeah, I don't make those kind of connections anymore.
Would I love to meet him? Yeah, sure. Even if he like does some horrible shit, because like in the future, if like I've met him and like, hey, it's Pedro, I got to meet Pedro Pascal. It's like, oh, the guy that like murdered those 38 people. Yep, I wasn't one of them. Like.
Or it's like, yeah, he did murder my mom. Actually, do I get some sort of compensation from that?
Well, maybe he starts with you. Maybe you meet him and he's just like, I want to see that little boy butthole.
He's like, let me touch that. Let me touch that little butt.
And I don't know.
Oh man. Anyway, now that this podcast is completely unlistenable.
Oh, it's always been unlistenable.
That's a good point. Maybe this is the direction we need to go in.
This is the turning point.
Yeah. Let's talk about some video games. In the titties, we got one titty here, bro. One titty, and we kind of talked about it last week, but
okay.
It's just confirmed that the Xbox showcase is actually happening. It was rumored last week. Now it's officially confirmed for January 25th.
Cool.
Which is my birthday. It's pretty cool.
Hey.
Happy birthday.
That's coming up, my guy.
Happy birthday to me, Xbox.
Happy birthday, Xbox.
Yeah. I don't think we'll see anything cool.
No. I don't. Yeah, no. Nope.
I think we need release dates. That's the main thing. Release dates to like Redfall and Starfield.
Like anything? Yeah. Like hard release dates.
If they do that, then I'm happy. Not really, but it's like if you don't do that, I'm fucking mad. Actually angry.
They can do whatever. I've started to care less
about Xbox in general.
About like they haven't done anything. They just keep acquiring shit over and over again.
True.
and it's like they haven't done anything with any of it.
I mean, we got
I'm getting sick
Pentiment.
of it.
People seem
Which
to
one's
like
that?
people seem to like Pentiment.
Oh yeah, Pentiment. Yeah, I hear that's a slow burn though. Like it takes a long time to get to the point where you're like, oh, this is a good game. I don't have time for that shit.
True.
So,
True.
um,
Yeah, I'm interested. I'm wondering if it pans out for them. I wonder
yeah,
when Sony's gonna do a thing.
hopefully soon.
They got to do a thing at some
They
point.
got to do a thing. They got to do a thing with the Insomniac games. I feel like that should be one of their things because I guarantee you, um, Forspoken is not going to do great.
No.
So they're gonna need to bounce back with something like, hey, maybe that game didn't review as well as we were hoping. So focus on these games instead, and
Yeah, I think the big games for Sony this year are Spider-Man 2 and Last of Us Factions. And I'm not even saying that as like a meme. I think it has to come out this year. Like it's time. This is the year, I think, for Factions. And I think they need to announce when these things are coming out. I'm thinking February or March. They'll do something.
oh, they'll announce. Okay, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, because like I think Spider-Man will come out like later in the year, and Factions will be like a summer game probably.
Yeah.
That's my guess.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know. Nintendo, what do you do?
Xbox needs to step up. Nintendo can take a year off.
I think they will. I
That's
think
fine.
they'll release Tears for the Kingdom and then just wait until next year to release their new system, I think.
They had a killer lineup last year. They can take this year off. Oh, that's cool with me.
Well,
But
they've
Xbox needs to do something.
Nintendo definitely has 2 games that are supposed to come out this year. It's the new Pikmin game, which people forget about. That's happening.
Yeah.
And Zelda. So I think that alone is like that's good.
Yeah.
It's pretty decent.
That's fine.
And they'll have some other shit, some bullshit Kirby game. I'm sure there'll be some fucking Pokemon game coming out this year.
Oh yeah. Pokemon for sure.
Yeah, and Xbox seems to have a stacked slate as well with Redfall and Starfield and potentially
Well, did you hear the news? There's a rumor going around that Starfield may have been delayed to the second half of 2023, which
that's
may
what
not
I was figuring that it would
may
come
not.
out.
Yeah, well, it was supposed to. I think they were said it was supposed to come out earlier.
I just kind of
But,
assumed it'd come out in like November.
Right. So I'm assuming it's not even going to be out this year. So
I think it will be. I hope it is. I mean, it's supposed to come out last year.
yeah, I know.
But also I think Hellblade is a possibility. Could see that.
That Hellblade game. Oh, Hellblade. Yeah. I was thinking Hellboy. I'm like that.
Oh, yeah,
Hellboy
that-
game is going to be a thing. Yeah,
I mean, that's a thing too, but whatever.
it's a thing, but
Seems like more of an
yeah,
indie joint.
it's a small thing.
Yeah. So anyway, that should be a fun thing that happens. Let's get into the news, which is all Ubisoft. We're talking about Ubisoft today. This comes from Ryan Brown at CNBC. We're getting official over here.
Mm-hmm.
Ubisoft cancels 3 games and slashes targets, citing worsening macroeconomic conditions. Okay, Ubisoft. Ubisoft canceled 3 unannounced games and slashed its full year financial target when. Let me start that over. Ubisoft.
Are you having troubles? He's having troubles. Everybody, I'm sorry.
I can't read. I don't know where I am. Hello, I'm having a stroke. I smell peanuts. Anyway, Ubisoft canceled 3 unannounced games and slashed its full year financial targets Wednesday, blaming worsening macroeconomic conditions that have plagued the video game industry. The French game publisher said it expects third quarter 2022 net bookings to come in at 725 million euros, lower than an earlier target of 830 million euros. The company cited poor performance of Mario plus Rabbids Sparks of Hope and Just Dance 2023 titles, as well as a challenging economic environment. For the full year, Ubisoft said it expects its 2022 net bookings to fall 10%. The company had earlier forecast net bookings growth of 10%. Ubisoft also delayed the release of its upcoming Skull and Bones pirate ship game to sometime between early 2023 and 2024. Quote, "We are clearly disappointed by our recent performance," said Ubisoft CEO Yves Guillemot in a statement. "We are facing contrasted market dynamics as the industry continues to shift towards mega brands and everlasting live games in the context of worsening economic conditions affecting consumer spending. Faced with the higher prices and borrowing costs, consumers are cutting back on discretionary purchases. Gaming especially has come under pressure. Global sales of games and services, including console and PC games, were expected to contract 4.4% year on year to $182 billion in 2022, according to a November research note from market data firm Ampere Analysis. With the industry seeing increased consolidation, Ubisoft is viewed by analysts as a potential takeover target. Its share price sank more than 38% in 2022, erasing 3 billion euros from the company's market value. So, yeah, that's something, huh? That's
crazy.
something. I find it funny, personally, Nick, that Yves Guillemot is like, we're facing contrasted market dynamics as the industry continues to shift towards mega brands and everlasting live games, which to me seems to be the problem with Ubisoft, is that they keep on trying to make mega brands and everlasting live games instead of just focusing on what worked for them for years and years and years, which was just making good games. Instead, they switched to making Hyperscape. They switched to making Assassin's Creed a live service game. They switched to Rainbow Six being a live service game, which, in fairness, seemed to have worked for them in that context. But
they haven't made another one,
right? And they've wasted so much time with Skull and Bones, which is very obviously trying to be a live service game.
Yeah. Like, these people are so fucking out of touch. Yves Guillemot is so goddamn out of touch with his own bullshit that I don't think he should be the one saying anything anymore. I don't think he knows what his company's doing. I think he's just an old man who's just making a check, and they go, "Okay, what do you think of this?" And he's like, "I don't fucking know,"
True.
I don't know. It's so stupid. Like, mega brands and everlasting live games is such a stupid thing to say when you have literally Elden Ring came out last year. You can't have that sentence. You can't say that in the same year, we'll say, close enough to a year, as Elden Ring winning Game of the Year.
And making a shit ton of money.
God of War and Horizon Forbidden West. That just goes against everything that... Yeah,
Plague Tale.
Stupid. It is the dumbest. I feel like, Yves is so out of touch with the community. He's just getting a paycheck at this point.
Well, and to address the Mario Rabbids of it all, which is a non-live service game, it is a more traditional game, and they're probably looking at that as like, oh well, we're failing because we're making games like this, and the last Far Cry, which probably didn't do too well for them, but I think the problem with Mario Rabbids in particular is that it's a strategy game on the Switch. which I think is a great game. But like, could you imagine if that game was on PC? Like,
Yep.
it'd be a huge seller.
Uh-huh.
And I know, they're limited by Nintendo there, but I don't know. You gotta make a different game then for the Switch and make
Yeah.
that a Rabbids game.
Like it doesn't really you have to realize that again, you have to connect with the consumer, which Ubisoft doesn't seem to be doing at all for the past 5 years. They're just putting out whatever the fuck the industry is saying, yeah, you should do this. And failing at every single thing. This fucking Skull and Bones thing needs to just go in the garbage
Yeah.
already.
They're
Like
just wasting so much money on it.
it's going to fail tremendously. Like I don't think I can find how much money they've sunk into this. But I wish I could. And I like the amount of money is astronomical, I'm sure, with what they've put into this. And they're not going to get 10% of what they put into it. Like this game is going to be so ass. And if it's not, it better be the best goddamn game out there ever. It's been 5 years or something like that since they announced it. And it was supposed to come out like that year.
Yeah.
And now it's like, what the fuck is happening over there? You guys don't know. You guys don't have a direction. Fire everybody. Start over. Like, that's how it should be. Go back to an indie company because you don't know how to be AAA anymore. So stop it.
Well, yeah, and I think they're trying to turn everything into a live service. They want to be Sea of Thieves, and a concern for me is Beyond Good and Evil 2, which last I heard, right, was originally it was like, oh, it's a sequel to Beyond Good and Evil. It's supposed to, be this cool single player thing or whatever. And then all of a sudden I'm hearing like, well, it's got multiplayer components, and I'm like, Ubisoft with multiplayer components is never a good thing.
Never a good thing. Skull and Bones, apparently, according to Wikipedia, has cost them over $120 million.
It's cost them way more than that. It absolutely has. There's no way. Yeah.
When was it? I can't. It doesn't tell me when this was written, but I'm sure.
But speaking to Eurogamer, Ubisoft told them that Beyond Good and Evil 2's development is underway, and the team is hard at work to deliver on its ambitious promise. I don't know. I just find it hard to believe. I feel like maybe they pivoted to a multiplayer game, and now they're seeing that shit isn't working, and they're maybe pivoting back. That's kind of my hope, is like, yeah, don't do what you were going to do and just make a good-ass game,
But like, Skull and Bones wasn't. I never thought Skull and Bones was going to be.
Well, I'm not talking about Skull and Bones. I'm talking about Beyond Good and Evil.
Yeah, Beyond Good and Evil. I think a multiplayer aspect is fine. As far as
I don't think it is when it's Ubisoft.
No, for sure. But if you had like a cooperative 2-player multiplayer, I think that could work. Any other multiplayer, it wouldn't work. Yeah. And especially not for Ubisoft. Yeah. Ubisoft hasn't made a good multiplayer game since
The Division.
Well, I was thinking Siege. But before that, it was Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, just as like fun
Brotherhood or whatever. Like, but it was never the main focus.
Right.
It was like, this is this kind of game, and we put multiplayer in it, and that's fine. That's how I feel like multiplayer should be. It's like, we made this game, kind of like how Factions was. We made this game, and the art department had some time, and we had some people fucking. We had programmers who were waiting on the art department. Just throw this up real quick, so we just had to full-fledge it out. It's kind of ridiculous.
Yeah. But just on like a slightly brighter note for Ubisoft, like there are some things that like maybe they're moving in the right direction. We've got that Avatar game that could potentially be good. We don't know. We've got that Star Wars game, which if it is just Star Wars Division, that sounds pretty cool to me. I'm okay with that. Yeah. And then also, in addition, I'm adding this here. This comes from Zach Zweisen at Kotaku. The next Assassin's Creed is smaller because past games got way too big. The last few Assassin's Creed titles have been gigantic games that can easily take over 100 hours to fully complete, with huge maps crowded with POIs. What is that?
Point of interests.
Oh, is that what that means? Thank
Mm-hmm.
you. Thank you. I'm glad I have someone smart on the podcast. Crowded with points of interests and tons of side quests to distract you from the main story. According to Ubisoft, Assassin's Creed Mirage, the upcoming spin-off, is smaller and more intimate because fans grew tired of these giant RPGs, and the devs were more than happy to go in this direction with the latest game in the franchise. In an interview with Games Radar, Assassin's Creed Mirage's creative director Stefani Boudon explained that while Origins, Odyssey, and Valhalla were all great games that let players live an epic journey, it was clear that those players were longing for something different and smaller. Amongst our fans, we started hearing the desire for a character-driven story focused on the core pillars of the first Assassin's Creeds in a more intimate scale, explained Boudon. It resonates with us all. It resonates with us as well as developers, and this was the starting point of the project. Boudon also said that while Mirage came about from a convergence of several inputs, the biggest driver behind the upcoming spin-off's smaller scale and focus on narrative came from the community was asking for after years of huge RPGs. Further, Mirage pays homage to the OG Assassin's Creed game starring Altair. Mirage is set in a similar part of the world, the Middle East, during the 13th century, and features actual assassins and not proto-assassins as seen in recent games. I think that's a good thing. I think that's...
100%. 100%. If that's true, I might actually get back into Assassin's Creed.
I feel the same way. Like, I'm obviously going to wait for reviews and probably wait for a price drop on it.
Oh, yes.
But, like, yeah, I feel the same way. Because the thing that has kept me away from, like, I honestly stopped at, like, Origins because I'm like, that's not Assassin's Creed.
No, it's not.
And it's funny, and I feel kind of bad because when those Assassin's Creeds were coming out, we were all talking shit like, oh my God, they just keep releasing the same thing every year. And then they finally released something different, but it's like, dude, this is not what we wanted. We just wanted you to take like a year off to make those other games like cleaner,
better.
You know?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like you could have made the same games. We just wanted them to run right and like feel better, you know? Like Syndicate was good. It was good. It's just like if you spent more time to make it like actually great, that's what we wanted. We didn't want like more content. That was never the issue.
Yeah, we don't want to be in your world for 6 billion hours.
Yeah.
That like especially as a grown adult with an adult job sort of and like time that I have a house and I have to fix this house and I have to do a whole bunch of shit. And my truck and everything like that. I don't have time to put 3 million hours into an Assassin's Creed game grinding for a single player experience. That just doesn't sound interesting to me. The biggest thing that I wish they didn't do in Assassin's Creed is the fact that you can slice somebody like 600 times because your sword isn't strong enough or you know, you're not the correct level. It's like, no, I literally sliced this guy's head off with a sword. He should be dead.
Yeah.
And they changed that in, I don't remember which game it was, but I remember distinctively thinking, like, why did this guy not die? Like, I hidden bladed him in the back of the head. He should be dead. He gets up and he's like, oh, I'm ready to fight you again. No, that's not how it works.
Yeah, they RPG-ified it. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like, I love Black Flag. That's my favorite Assassin's Creed because you shoot people with guns and they fall to the ground. Bang, bang, bang. Like, dead. It makes you feel good when your attack has some impact and they got rid of that. And now you have boss fights for some fucking reason that don't make any sense because it's like a big giant strong guy that you have to hit with your sword or your axe or whatever the fuck you're wielding 16 times in order to even damage him. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Assassin's Creed has gone way too far. RPG. It needs to go back to, let's tell you a story of espionage and intrigue rather than, yeah.
Yeah. My favorite one was always Brotherhood because it blended it perfectly as like it's an open world game,
Mhm.
and there's a really compelling story underneath it. And the protagonist is played by Nathan Drake, which we love. And but then on top of that, it's like you've got these like interesting gameplay elements on top of that, where it's like you're building this community and like growing almost like a little empire underneath. And they should have built off of that more instead of like whatever the fuck they're doing now. I don't know, like just like boring fetch quests over and over again.
Yeah,
I don't know.
yeah.
And also, what I really appreciate in games these days are endings. I love a good ending in a game.
Yep.
Like, I know a lot of people complain about that, but like for me, like, great. Give me a 30-hour game where it ends.
I
love that.
I agree. Yeah.
Let me do something else with my life.
I also enjoy that in like movies too. And I feel like a lot of movies now all are just like, oh, but what happens next? Just to get you to buy a ticket. And it's like, I don't give a shit. Finish your story. You know?
Yeah. For sure. So we'll see what happens with Ubisoft. I wonder if they get bought up by somebody. Who the fuck would want to buy Ubisoft at this point, though?
Sony.
Yeah, they're the only ones that could, I think. Well, I mean, like Epic.
10-cent Epic. I could see Epic buying it.
I could see that.
Yeah.
Obviously, Xbox won't do it. The government won't let them do it.
Well, it's kind of ridiculous.
Yeah. Anyway, let's get into the MPD numbers. They're in. This
shit
is an exciting
my favorite time.
This is an exciting MPD because this is the best-selling games of the year, motherfucker, of 2022. First, we're going to start with the top 10 selling video games of December 2022. At number 1, of course, is Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2.
Of course,
number
we all
2
saw it coming.
is Pokemon Scarlet Violet. At number 3 is God of War Ragnarok. At number 4 was Madden NFL 23. At number 5 was FIFA 23. Number 6 was Sonic Frontiers. Number 7 was Elden Ring.
Wow, it went back up because it won. It won the.
Could be.
Yep.
Or maybe people were like going on break and they're like, I want to play Elden Ring finally.
Yeah,
maybe.
Could be.
At number 8 was Need for Speed Unbound.
Cool.
Number 9, Mario Kart 8.
You son of a bitch. You son of a bitch.
And kind of interesting one here. At number 10,
though,
Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII Reunion.
Mario Kart 8, the new maps came out for that, didn't it?
Yeah.
I did not even remember.
There's a ton of maps that I haven't played yet.
Well, you should come over and we should play them.
I'm down.
Fucking do it. I'm free.
Yeah. Well, it's my sister's birthday today, so I can't
do it. You're not free. Oh, okay. Excuses. Anyway, continue.
All right, here are the top 10 selling video games of 2022. Here they are.
There they are, the big kahunas.
At number 1, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2.
Shoot.
They snagged it.
At
number 2, Elden Ring. At number 3, Madden NFL 23. At number 4, just barely inching its way into number 4, is God of War Ragnarok. At number 5 is Lego Star Wars The Skywalker Saga. At number 6 is Pokemon Scarlet Violet. At number 7 is FIFA 23. At number 8 is Pokemon Legend Arceus. At number 9 is Horizon 2 Forbidden West. And at number 10 is MLB The Show 2022.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's
not bad.
Pretty interesting.
What's crazy is that Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, because that came out in October?
Yep.
Elden Ring has had all year to increase that lead, and they still couldn't do it. Still couldn't do it. Call of Duty still beat them out in the year.
I will say this though.
Fucking nuts.
Normally at the end of the year, because I know this because we've been looking at NPD numbers now for like a couple years. Normally there's 2 Call of Duties in that top 10, and
That
this
is
year
true.
there's only one.
That's true.
I think
because last year's Call of Duty sucked, but
yeah, that says more about Vanguard than it does, Call of Duty as a whole. But kind of interesting. But instead of having 2 Call of Duties, we've got 2 Pokemons in the top 10, which is interesting. Shout out to Arceus. I loved that game. Unsung hero of 2022, I'd say. I really love that game. I got more hooked to that one than I have Scarlet Violet.
Yeah, I do like Scarlet Violet. I wish there was more customization for the characters, because I haven't really played too much since like November. And it's kind of hard to go back to because I don't know where I'm at. I don't know what I'm doing. Yeah, it's a little big, Scarlet and Violet.
My thing, well, I'm still like really early on. My thing with it though is, and maybe it gets more intense as I go further into it, but like my thing has just been like I go to a thing and then I finish it and then I just to a gym or whatever, get the badge, and then I go to the next one, get the badge, and I feel like that's all I'm doing in the game.
Yeah,
and it's sort of like, this is okay.
It doesn't need to be open world.
Yeah, I don't know. It just feels a little uninspired to me, but
yeah, like the open world, it needs better hardware.
It does.
For one.
I think if it had better hardware, it'd be better. They could have done more.
Yeah, I agree. But also, it's the Pokemon company or whoever.
I enjoy like the Titan ones. Those are
the Titan ones are different. I like the Titan ones.
That's pretty interesting. But the gym stuff is the like normal gyms. It's like, it's whatever.
But you need to do them in order to have Pokemon like
at a certain
listen
level.
to you. Yeah. So, but the issue that I'm running into is all my Pokemon are higher level than I can tell them what to do. So I keep having to switch them out for like slightly worse Pokemon so that I can beat the gym.
That's funny.
I
haven't had that problem yet, though.
That's kind of annoying to me. I'm just trying to beat all the gyms so that I can go and do everything else without worrying about what Pokemon will listen to me. I always thought that was a stupid thing. I feel like Pokemon should be...
Makes sense. They don't want you to grind too much.
Right, but if you're going to make an open world where you can do gyms in any order or whatever, I feel like it should be more of a... We will scale the gym to your level rather than this is the order you have to do the gyms in order to progress. I feel like screw the level cap.
I'm surprised that's not
just
the case.
If your first Pokemon is level 43, their first Pokemon is level 43. And that's how it should be. And I don't know. I feel like that's how it should work, but they didn't do that.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
So, but who knows? Maybe in the future,
it's like their first step in that direction.
But it's so weird because this is like the absolute Pokemon that we all wanted when we were in grade school. Like, I want to be able to go around and like see the Pokemon, and and capture whatever. I don't want to have to keep running around in this same square patch and try to get this Pokemon that I'm looking for.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the sales definitely support that is what we wanted because it's selling really fucking well. So
it is.
Yeah. We'll see. I'm liking it. I keep wanting to go back to it. I haven't beat God of War yet, man. It's been crazy.
Oh my god.
You know what I've been playing instead? Fucking Hitman.
You've been playing Hitman.
I have, and it's been a lot of fun.
This is what you've been playing, I guess.
Yeah, that was a seamless transition.
That was a seamless transition. I had to point it out.
Yes.
Man. All right, yeah. So you've been playing Hitman.
Yeah, and I beat the first Hitman, and it's just so much fun, man. I just it's just a fun thing to do, and it's like chill, and
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is pretty laid back, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's just
It's
like kind of, I don't know.
I
Yeah.
do like that about the Hitman games. It's very just take it at your own pace.
Yeah. Do whatever you want. But also there are like missions if you want to do it that way. But also do whatever you want, you know? Which I enjoy about the game as well. Where it's like, hey, there are certain ways you can play it, and in fact, we want you to do it a bunch of times so you can experience all these different ways that we created. But at the
Hmm.
same time, you can also just go in there and be across the building with like a silenced pistol and just shoot the guy if you want. That's
Yeah,
fine.
yeah,
And we'll give you no stars for it, though. I don't know how the stars system works in that game. I have no fucking clue how it works.
yeah. I never pay attention to that.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm just playing for funsies. But maybe one day I'll go back and try to get more stars. I'll never do that. I'm just playing for funsies.
no, yeah, you just play for funsies. Play because there are some levels where you'll like. I really like the setting on that level.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go back and play it, and
Mm-hmm.
you're not going for the
Yeah,
for the stars at all. So
I remember doing that because I did play Hitman 3 when it came out in 2021. Or 20, yeah, 2021. Um, and I remember going back to both the like Knives Out one, the one where it's like the mansion from Knives Out,
yeah.
because I liked that one a lot. And I remember going back to the club one where they're like in the club.
I
That
do like the club one.
that one's
That
really
is a good
cool.
one.
There's one that's
Yeah.
similar to that
I I like
in
I
the
like the
first game.
vineyard. The vineyard one and three. I actually
Yeah.
killed every single person in the vineyard on Hitman 3. Um,
That's awesome.
and that was pretty fun.
That's
Um,
awesome.
and at the end, you know how you like dance. You can dance with the your handler or whatever at the end as kind of like a disguise, just like, yeah, well, we got the job done. Now let's you know go just enjoy the party. But like the dancing still goes on, but everybody's dead around you, so there's just bodies all over the place, and it's really funny.
I enjoyed that in Hitman 1. There's one where it's kind of like the club one, but it's like a runway show,
Uh-huh.
and you can dress up as one of the models and walk the runway, and it's
That
pretty.
Hitman one
That is Hitman 1, yeah.
of
Uh,
the new Hitman.
of the yeah of like the new
Yes.
of the Hitman
Yes, yeah,
trilogy.
that's the very first one.
Yeah,
The very first mission of Hitman 1. Yeah.
yeah,
Mhm. That is a good one.
yeah. That one's pretty tight. I like that one. I also liked the hospital, which is the last mission. That one's pretty tight too.
I
I
don't remember the hospital one.
I had fun with that one.
Not
It's like there's a guy getting surgery, and you have to figure out how to kill the
Oh,
guy
oh,
getting the
right,
surgery.
right. It's like in the Alps or something like that. The
Yeah, yeah,
snowy Japan or something. Yeah.
yeah. That one's pretty good. So I plan on playing Hitman 2 as well, just to say I've played all three of them because I'm
Hmm.
pretty hyped for their James Bond game. I think that's gonna be really really cool.
Yeah.
Hopefully. Um, before I get to my other thing, what have you been playing?
Man, it's been pretty slow for me. I've been doing a lot of more work on the house. Like I've wired up a whole freaking hot tub this weekend, and I did something else. Oh, I built a desk for Danielle, so she has a new desk and
Oh
her office
yeah.
looks clean and whatnot. So I've been pretty much doing a whole lot of nothing this week, other than real life stuff.
Yeah,
I
a
played a
whole
little
lot
bit of
of real life stuff.
Stellaris, a whole lot of real life stuff. Played a little bit of Stellaris until my internet shit out on me. I played some Call of Duty, I think, which is kind of right now until they add some more shit to it. It's all kind of samey. Um, Still on that Marvel Snap grind though. And I know a lot of people are off that grind, but I'm heavy in that shit. Every day, every 8 hours I'm out there doing my dailies and my weeklies and leveling up the season pass and whatnot. Um,
Yeah,
but
I have played it a few times, but I haven't been on the grind as hard as I was.
Yeah, it's the thing about it is like once you hit 1,000, which I don't know what level you are, but once you hit 1,000, the rewards slow down, and you don't quite
Yes.
get your collection level slows down. It's harder to get cards,
Yeah,
so
the
you have
cash level, or you get the caches instead.
yeah, you get like gold, or you'll get credits, or what they call collector's tokens, which you can use once you get 1,000 of them to buy a card that you want in your shop. But that card is random every 8 hours as well. So it takes a long time to get the cards you want. Right now, I'm missing two cards that I really want, and that's Thor, uh, Jane Foster Thor, and Mr. Negative. I want to build a deck with those two, but I haven't seen them or gotten them or anything, and it's kind of like, okay, well, I'm just playing the same deck over and over again, sort of thing. So
Yeah.
it's I'm starting to get the burnout, but I feel like the as long as you continue doing the season pass and you stick with it, there's enough reward there that it's worth it.
What's
So
frustrating me with the game is the UI is just starting to bug me on my phone. Like when you click on something and it like darts up for some reason. I don't know if you're experiencing that, but oh my god, it's just so fucking annoying. I hate the UI.
oh,
It's like so
I
buggy
haven't
and glitchy.
I haven't really dealt with that. The one thing I wish they would have is like I have a whole bunch. So Sunspot, they had a bundle for Sunspot, and I had the gold. I barely had the gold. It was like the last day of this, and it was like 6,000 gold. And I'm like, if I get 100 gold more, I can do this. And I opened up it's called a collector's reserve, and it gave me 200 gold. And I'm like, fuck yeah! And I bought it. So now Sunspot is in all of my decks. I leveled him up fully. What was it? Three times. So now I have like 6 or 7 different variants of Sunspot that they're all like 4 of them are the same art and 3 of them are the same art. So I have 2 sets of Sunspots, but it shows me every single one. So like half of the screen at one point is just Sunspot. And I'm like, I wish I didn't have to go into, the filter down at the bottom and click don't show me variants. But there's just little things like that. They've actually improved quite a bit of things. Like you can select your favorite variants now and put them in your deck and put them in all your decks at the same time. Um, they've made it a little bit easier for you to do certain things, but it still needs some uh, quality of life
Yeah.
upgrades. Also, when is the multiplayer? They say it's coming out January,
Yeah, win.
but I don't know, man.
I
I
don't
would
believe them.
really love to like actually play with my compatriots who have also been playing and
Yeah,
play
and
their
just
decks versus my
fucking
decks.
dominate us all.
Or trade. I would love for a trading system, like a
Oh,
variant trading system would be so good. Like,
that
hey,
would
you
be
got a
cool.
variant that I like. I have a variant you like. Let's trade that. I would love that shit. But you know, it is what it is, and I feel like it'll only get better over time as long as they continue to uh, get support. Which I think there's so many whales on that game. Like their bundles are ridiculous. They had
Oh,
an
dude,
anime
it's
bundle. You get a last month, the end of December, that was $50 for like 2 variants and a couple other things that was not worth it. But I see multiple people with those like avatars. And I'm like, shit, dude, you spent $50 on this game for 2 pictures.
yeah, it's just horrendous to open that
It
store
is,
too. It's
oh,
just so
it is,
ugly and gross.
yeah, it's not the best.
Um,
But
Nick, I wanted to ask you too. Did you get a
uh-huh.
chance to watch The Last of Us episode 1?
Okay, so yes, sort of.
Okay.
I watched up until the time skip.
Okay.
It was late at night. Danielle and I didn't get home until like 10:30,
Oh,
11. And I'm like, it's like an hour and a half long. We're not going to get through it. And she's like, oh, let's just watch it. We don't have to watch the whole thing. I'm like, so we're laying in bed and we have it on. And dude, my freaking heart was pounding so hard. And like, I couldn't sit still because of all my nerves were going off because this fucking show is so well fucking done.
Yeah.
It is so freaking well done. I like that scene, that first part before the time skip had me feeling the same way I was feeling back in 2000 and what was it, 10? 2011?
13.
Was it 2013 when that game came out and I was playing it in the dark like and it was practically the same thing. Like they did such a good job keeping it modern with like the tentacle thing, like updating it just enough, but not ruining what was already set there. The little backstory for Sarah was really good just to get her character going. We didn't get that in the game, but we got a little bit of it.
Yeah,
and she says the line, and you're like, ah, shit, that's such a good line.
She sells drugs.
At the end, and then at the end, you're like, fuck, dude, I want to die, and it just works so well. I can't wait to see the rest of it.
Well, and they've done such a good job of keeping it faithful to the source material while also adding enough to be like, hey, this is a television show, so we're gonna add more stuff, and we're also going to take some combat element out. You know, like, it's not going to be as like they're not going to kill as many people as they kill in the video game, obviously.
But also that scene where they're in the truck, it was shot for fucking shot.
Oh yeah,
the game, like the perspective and everything with the zooming in the back of the car and everything was so spot on. It was perfect. It was so good.
And also, you know, just the fact that, you know, in the first one, it was sort of like, oh, we're seeing this nice moment between a father and a daughter, and then it sort of turns into this zombie apocalypse thing, where in this one, it's sort of like, it's escalating and like the tension is building, and they took a different approach to it while also keeping it the same, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like, to make it different enough to be like, oh, this is an interesting take. And to start it with the like interview is like,
the interview. Like,
it's like that. What a great way to like put that in your brain. Like, oh, this is coming, you know?
That interview, while it was going on and he's like, you know, as the globe gets warmer, you know, fungus is going to evolve. And I turned to Danielle and I'm like, this is going to be the fucking fantastic show. This is going to be so good because the writing in that interview scene was so well done. Like, and
then, you know, the part you haven't got to yet is also, it just continues to be very good even past the time skip. The sets and stuff are just so impressive. You're just like, this looks like how I want it to look. You know, like, this looks great. And the way they did tests is really good so far. And I'm excited to see where it goes. Hour and a half is pretty long for an opening show. I actually listened to the podcast. They're doing a weekly podcast where it's Neil Druckmann, who was like the creator of the game. Also, now he's like co-president of Naughty Dog, and Craig Mazin, who's the executive producer of the show, and it's hosted by Troy Baker. And for each episode, they're like doing a breakdown, like they're talking about the episode. And it was pretty insightful to hear their different takes and like how Neil thought of how he did it in the game versus how they're doing it in the show. And it's pretty insightful and interesting just to hear, because I've heard Neil talk about how it's like about love, right? The game is about love. But to hear Craig Mazin go into like, it's about love and how love can actually be really problematic and create terrible, terrible circumstances where like it almost brings out a primal thing in people, and like because of love is the reason that everything horrible that happens in the game and the show. It's like, oh, that is such an interesting concept that I really appreciate. And it actually even made me think about the game differently too. I'm like, wow. So I'm going to be listening to that podcast every week too, because it's really interesting. So, I am so hyped for episode 2. And I think the thing that I'm most excited about with the show is just like, finally, there's something that like someone who's not a gamer can finally experience this story, because it's such a fucking good story, and I'm so glad.
It's one of the best stories ever told, and
the closest we had to it was Logan, which is also great, but like,
but it's not exactly as good,
right?
But like, I wanted this show to be good so that I could show everybody that doesn't play video games, this is why I play video games.
Exactly.
Like,
it's like I told you so.
Like, hey, I've already lived through this in ways that you will not live through it, but now you can live through it the way that I lived through it, so you need to watch this. Like, that's how it was. It's just like, I can't wait for people to fucking watch this show, and it becomes huge again. It's gonna be I'm so excited for just to talk about it.
I can already tell this show is going to be popular too, because it's already and I know my algorithm, it makes sense that it's all over my algorithm, but it's like, I can tell people are like latching onto this show in a big way. So it's pretty cool to see. Anyway, recent reviews via OpenCritic. One Piece Odyssey got a 76 from 38 critic reviews, and Vengeful Guardian Moonrider got an 80 from 39 critic reviews. That's pretty cool. I never even heard of that.
Neither.
But an 80, that's pretty cool.
That's pretty good.
Next week in games, we got Shadow Man Remastered coming to Switch on January 17th. Nobody Saves the World comes to Xbox on January 18th. River City Girls comes to PS5 January 18th. Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel comes to everything January 19th. Expeditions Rome comes to PC January 20th. Paparazzi, everyone's favorite game.
You remember that game? Yeah.
Yes.
That was supposed to come out last year.
Was it?
Yeah, remember it was on our
on the fantasy draft, yeah.
It was, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that comes out January 20th. How about that? It got delayed. Hopefully it's great. Rainbow Six Extraction it's coming to consoles, I guess.
Yeah.
January 20th. That's weird. Windjammers 2. Did I just copy the wrong year? Is this what happened?
You sure did.
I got to Windjammers 2 and I'm like, wait a second. Rainbow Six Extraction. No wonder you're like, Paparazzi came out last year. All of this is wrong. I copied last year. Wrong.
God, you're such an idiot.
I am such an idiot.
You're such an idiot. Well, there's no games releasing next week. Don't worry about it.
Oh my God. I can't believe this has happened. I can't believe
where is there should be Forspoken should be on there somewhere, I thought.
Right? You'd think. Hold on one second.
Yeah, Forspoken comes out. Oh no, I guess not technically. Forspoken comes out technically the week after next week.
Gigantosaurus Dino Kart comes to everything on January 17th. Okay? A Space for Unbound comes to everything on January 19th. Colossal Cave comes to everything January 19th. Persona 4 Golden comes out January 19th. Shin Megami Tensei 3 comes out January 19th. Fire Emblem Engage comes out January 20th. Monster Hunter Rise comes to PS5, Xbox Series, PS4, and Xbox One on January 20th. And Pocket Card Jockey Ride On comes January 20th. And that is it.
Nice.
Okay, we got it. We got it right. Wow. Holy shit. I can't believe I've done this.
Fucking paparazzi, man. That just set us off. I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
That little indie game hasn't come out yet.
I can't believe I didn't notice that when I was like copy pasting it. Anyway.
Crazy.
Yeah, check out our other shows. Look up.
Wow, we almost had a year just like last year.
Yeah, that would have been wild.
Jake almost cursed us.
Yep. Follow us on Twitter, whatever. Emergency Pizza _ Fatal _ Microwave. Twitch.tv/LonerCast. YouTube, all that stuff. Find us on podcast services. Look up Last Week in Games.